Let's talk about some public speaking skills, right? So I want to talk about how do you sound confident as all hell? Even if you're not confident, how do you just sound confident? This is a really good public speaking tip in terms of when you're presenting, whether it's in a video, whether it's on a stage, you gotta sound confident. Otherwise, you sound unconfident. So let's talk about some public speaking skills. I want to talk about how do you sound confident? I mean, even if you're not confident, how do you still sound confident? Because when you're confident, everything changes. When you're in a video, when you're on a stage and you sound confident, the way people respond to you is completely different than when people say, oh, he seems nervous. So you want to think, all right, how do I sound extremely, insanely confident whenever I'm presenting? And if you look at billionaires, this is the key to confidence, not being a billionaire, but look at stories or if you heard about stories about guys like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and guys like them, right? The stories of their reality distortion fields, that's what they're called. That's reality distortion fields. And that's essentially what the confidence is, where when you have this reality distortion field around you, you become insanely persuasive. You're so confident that you can say, you know what? Even though this is an iPhone, I can sound so confident and I can convince somebody that this is an Android phone. I can say, like, I'm talking to you and I say, like, this isn't an iPhone. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? I'll bet you your house. I guarantee. And so you can sound so confident that you make people question their reality. And that's why people talked about Steve Jobs' reality distortion field and Elon Musk's reality distortion field. And so how do you get to the point where you become that confident, to where you're so confident you just naturally persuade people? It really comes down to a couple things, right? So the main thing it comes down to is just your energy in general, like the energy that you're giving off, where you need to feel what you're saying, almost to a point where you truly believe it, to a point where you are delusional. That is the confidence level that you need to be at, to where you are saying something and you are practically believing it yourself. If I were to say that this thing is red, I would say it with so much confidence that I would almost probably literally see red in this thing, and it would make you question in terms of, maybe there is some red in it or something. And so when you increase your energy and you're presenting, whether it's in a video, whether it's on a stage, you naturally come across as really confident. And then when you're presenting, don't hesitate. So the more you hesitate as you speak, the less confident you appear. Even though people who hesitate are actually really smart, by the way, because when you hesitate, you're just kind of thinking about, a lot of times you're thinking about how to dumb this down. So you're trying to communicate something to someone. You're trying to communicate Einstein's E equals MC squared to somebody, and you hesitate. You're thinking like, okay, how do I dumb this down so they can understand? E equals energy, M equals mass, C squared light. Well, basically, you can turn energy into mass. And then that's what happens when people like hesitate, right? But when you want to sound confident, you do the exact opposite. You just say whatever it is that pops into your head, and you say it with a lot of energy, and then people will say, dang, that guy, he must be right. Even if you're completely wrong, because hesitation creates gaps. When you're sitting there, you're talking and you hesitate, then people, they can now start thinking because you've given them a space to think. Whereas when you're talking, there's no space. As you're talking, they're kind of just thinking about whatever you're saying, and then everything's popping up inside of their brain. But when you stop, now they got time to think. And so when you hesitate, people can think. I want to tell you this story. I almost forgot. I want to tell you this story about my mom, right? So my mom, she was going up to a news station, right? And with news stations, you can't just walk in there. You can't just open the door and just walk in. It's usually locked and they got to buzz you in. So my mom goes up and there's the intercom system there, so you can like say like, hey, or something like, can I come inside? And so she walks up and she just presses it and she goes, we're here. And then the person comes over the intercom like, what was that? She said, oh, we're here. And then the person's like, did you have an appointment? And my mom was like, yeah, I mean, I talked with the weatherman like last week, and he said we can come by and we can take a look at the station. We can just like walk around the station. And so the lady was like, which weather person? My mom goes, no, I can't remember his name, but it was it was that one guy. I mean, he wasn't like too tall, but and then she was like, I don't know if you can like say the names. I could probably remember it. And so the lady on the intercom, she goes, well, there's Patrick, there's John, there's James. And then my mom, yeah, James. It was James. And then the news lady goes, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Well, James actually, he's not here, but I guess you can come in. You guys can like look around and stuff. And then they just buzz us in. Well, they buzz my mom in, right? And so doing something like that where you just sound extremely confident, you create this reality distortion field where people naturally believe you. Based on your own energy, people just naturally believe you. And so if you don't hesitate, like my mom, she didn't hesitate. She just buzzed and she just goes, we're here. And on their end, they're thinking like, what? Huh? What's happening? And so by not hesitating, you create this insane amount of confidence. And by having your energy at a certain level, you create this insane amount of confidence. And then if you can, you want to practice. So when you practice saying something, then you become familiar with it. And when you're familiar with it, you naturally sound confident. And so if you can, then practice. If you can't, then you're just screwed. No, I'm just kidding. If you can't practice, then you simply think about just the energy level and then don't think, think in terms of don't hesitate. And so that's how you come across as really confident when you're presenting in a video or whether you're presenting on a stage.